Okay, starting Instagram. Okay, hey guys, Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlshakes.com here for a live stream. We haven't done one in like a month. We took a little bit of a break, but we're back and we're ready to kick ass again. We'll hopefully come back to a normal schedule. We're gonna do them on Wednesdays now. I don't know why, we just decided Wednesdays is a nice day. We usually did it on Sundays, kind of like church service, but it's hard to compete with the church. So we're gonna work on making our own day. And so yeah, we're gonna be trying to do it on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Romania time, so 2 p.m. Eastern New York time, basically. That's ideal. Usually things are a little bit late because I'm always running on Latino time. If I tell you 4 o'clock, I'm there at 6 o'clock. David fucking hates it, and I'm working on it. I know it can sometimes come off as rude. I never try to be an asshole, but sometimes I'm naturally just an asshole by being late. We had a guy do a live stream. Valentin, he's watching right now. He kind of started it for us, so he got us warmed up. He got the table warmed up. The seat's really nice and warm. Thank you, buddy. Mucho merci from us. And so we'll get started with today's live stream. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is social circle versus cold approach. For those of you who are maybe not so familiar with the pickup community or seduction community, a lot of what we call pickup started from guys who were not really considered the cool guys. They were the guys who were nerds. And so they developed this thing called pickup. And seduction has always been around since, Rome, or before then, Ovid, he wrote, he's a Roman guy. He wrote Ars Amoratia, something like that. And it means like the art of love. And so you've always had this distilling of social skills down to a mechanical level, tips and not really tricks, because you can't just fucking Jedi mind trick girls, right? It's just tips of, how to groom yourself, how to present yourself, how to talk to girls. But these guys, the pickup community, it was kind of launched with the book The Game by Neil Strauss, and it included guys like Mystery in Zanperion and other famous figures in this community. And so they tried to make pickup a strategic thing where I would distill down my ability to socialize and to seduce into a technical art form. Now the problem with this is a lot of these guys who were pickup artists is they lacked the ability to naturally socialize. And so I'll get into the distinctions of what that is. But they generally, if I were to put like a traditional pickup artist who does cold approach, so I'll define cold approach. Cold approach is when I see a girl on the street and I walk up to her and I say, hey, you're beautiful, I want to talk to you, da-da-da. Or if I'm at a bar and I say, hey, you're really beautiful, I want to talk to you, da-da-da. It's a one-on-one conversation. It's a one-on-one affair. Sometimes there's group dynamics, especially in the nightclubs, and that's what a lot of Mystery talked about with his advice in The Game, was adjusting to the club dynamics. And there's specific dynamics when it comes to being at night, because you have the certain environment of everyone kind of posturing and trying to be status oriented and trying to be cool. Whereas during the day, there's different dynamics as well, because you don't have to worry about loud music, people being drunk, aggressive guys, etc. And so cold approach is my ability to one-on-one seduce you with very little external influence. That's what they focused on mostly. The problem with this is when you don't learn how to handle a group dynamic, there are a lot of mannerisms and behaviors and subtleties of socializing and seduction as well, because it's not just seduction. Let's think of cold approach as a seduction one-on-one. I'm just trying to give you an amazing experience and pull you into my world and make you happy, horny, and having a good time. Whereas social circle is about, not always, but being the light of the party and having everyone talking to you and everyone liking you and everyone there knows your name and everyone wants to get to know you, and the girls can see that you're popular in the group and that you have a lot of friends and that you're good at socializing with people. And it's a bit more of a slow process, whereas a cold approach is, we're talking, I'm gonna fuck you in the next couple hours, or I'm gonna get your number and then I'm gonna take you on a date, but it's still a one-on-one affair. A lot of the guys in the pickup community, even now, who I am friends with them, they definitely consider themselves pickup artists. if you were to put them into a room full of not normal people, but a lot of the guys who tend to do pickup just one-on-one, they tend to be on the Asperger's spectrum, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it does tend to lead them to think more mechanically, and they're not going to be as well acquainted with understanding the emotions of the room. They're not going to read the emotions because they, being autistic, they actually lack that capacity, or at least it's diminished. Because I've had autistic clients or clients who are on the Asperger's syndrome, and there's things that they just literally, like, it just doesn't process, like sarcasm or facial expressions or body language. Like, they have to mechanically learn how to interpret these rather than just, oh, I can tell that person is they're not really, something's off, you know? Like, sometimes you just get this feeling of, you know, and sometimes that can hurt you when you're too empathetic, because some guys, when they're just like, zoop, the girl can be like, oh yeah, but he just keeps going, and she's like, okay, I guess I'll keep talking to him, and then he fucks her, and it's like, you know, a guy who was like really worried about his reputation wouldn't be as inclined to be so aggressive, and so there are some advantages to being a cold approach guy who's just like, I'm fucking in this, I'm gonna seduce you. But then you have a guy who is more oriented towards social circle. He's gonna be more worried about his reputation and how he looks, because there's long-term consequences to his actions. So this is basically the most foundational distinction between guys who are good in group dynamics, going out to clubs with friends, hanging out with friends at a house party, networking, Instagram, Facebook, any sort of social media, versus the guys who are really good at just going one-on-one. So these guys can go out and just meet girls, 3 girls in a week, and fuck 3 girls in a week. Whereas the social circle guy, he can maybe have, if he's really at the top, he can fuck a lot of girls. What I've noticed, though, is that even though maybe his process is a bit slower, because he has to go to a party and he has to fucking be at the party for 6, 7, 8 hours, depending on, you know, if you're in America or Europe, here the parties go insanely long. But even in America, you know, you have your pre-party at 8:30, you go out to the club at 10:30, 11, you're out until 1:32, and then you're trying to pull the girl. Whereas a cold approacher is either getting a girl, getting her number, taking her on a date, you know, easy business. Those guys are going to be much better at just going but I've noticed with social circle guys, they're going to generally get hotter girls because women tend to travel in packs for a variety of reasons. And so women are also drawn to status. Women like status, just like women like money or good looks. It's not everything, though. And so this is where a lot of social circle guys have their weakness, is they know how to play one game. They know how to dress themselves. And cold approach guys can, I've seen guys who are like, yeah, I fucked 200 girls. And then we hang out and we're going to approach girls and they're wearing like fucking like Jesus sandals and like shorts and a t-shirt that doesn't quite fit right. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how are you presenting yourself like this? But they got good at this skill where they know quantitatively they're going to get enough girls into their web, I guess, that they're going to get some success. But the social circle guy, because he's so involved in reputation and pop culture and status, he knows how to dress himself. He knows how to present himself in an attractive way. And he knows how to handle social dynamics on a level that the other guy isn't prepared, because he doesn't know how to read a room. He doesn't know how to know that this person seems bored, you know? So even though I'm talking to this person, maybe I should include this person and bring them in and make sure they have a good time. And then I know that if I bring this guy in, and you're not doing it just for strategic reasons, so I don't want to come off like a sociopath, but I do know that, hey, you know, I want to make sure this guy has a good time. I want to be the life of the party. So you bring him in. Hey, man, you know, what's your name? You want to join this conversation? He's like, yeah, okay, cool. And then he joins the conversation, and then now you have multiple people kind of like paying attention to you, so it makes you high status. And so he knows how to garner this attention. And plus, here's the other thing. Because the guy who is in social circle, because he understands the long-term effects, the ripples, you know, if you drop a rock into water, there's going to be ripples. He understands that there's effects that you're not always willing to encounter, or you're not always going to see the effects of right now, but maybe you'll see it a month from now, or even 10 seconds from now. Because this guy who was maybe kind of sitting in the corner and not really enjoying himself, you bring him in and he starts talking to you and you make sure he has a good time. Little do you know, because maybe it's your first time in this group, you know, you just got invited to this group. Little do you know, this guy's actually quite popular in these groups and knows a lot of people. But he appreciates the fact that you were going to bring him into this circle. And he's like, this guy's awesome, because people love that you bring value. to the group and to each person. So cold approach is a one-on-one affair, and so is social circle, but it's a one-on-one times 20, because you got 20 people in the room, and you got to pretty much like technically seduce 20 people. It doesn't quite work like that, but that's how you want to think of it. And so because he understands long-term consequences, he's going to act in a way that is that has a long-term value in mind. And so if you put him in a social circle environment, he's going to be good at getting a bunch of people to like him and talk to him and have a good time. And this is going to extend beyond this party, because he's going to get their Instagram, he's going to get their Facebook, he's going to get their phone number, and then they're going to hang out later. And when they hang out later, they're going to go grab lunch. Or maybe next weekend, that guy enjoyed hanging out with me, so he's going to invite me out to another party. And then when I go to that party, I'm going to meet another guy who wants to hang out with me, and boom, 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 boom. And next thing you know, my Instagram is growing, or just my friend group is growing, and I'm slowly kind of like a virus spreading through the social hierarchies. And I'm getting good at understanding group dynamics, because a cold approacher, he might go to a party and he's like, all right, girl. And the other guy's like, fuck, you need to chill. Like, how do you know that girl doesn't have a boyfriend that's right there? And even though it might not start a fight, it's still, that guy's going to be like, oh, he doesn't, he's just focused on himself. He's not focused on the group. And I mean, part of it, I guess, is herd mentality. And some of you might think, well, I'm a lone ranger and, I just do my own thing. That's fine. You can totally do that. What I'm going to try and advise you to do is to synthesize both, because I would know guys from the nightlife industry, for instance, and they fucked hundreds of girls, right? They're doing great jobs. They're fucking famous within their city. They have a lot of followers. They have a lot of friends. They have high status friends. They know celebrities, blah, blah. But if we're walking around the city and he sees fucking hot ass shorty over there, I'm like, I'll be right back, buddy. I'm gonna go talk to that girl. And he's like, what the fuck? What is that? What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just going to talk to a girl. Because for a variety of reasons, mostly because he's so used to getting success from those social circle environments that he's not willing to. It's kind of like, if you already have a bunch of money, you're not going to go and do that small job to get money. Whereas I'm willing to go and do that. But he's just not concerned with he's also worried about a status, because there is a certain level of social risk that you take when you go to approach a girl. You're with a bunch of friends, and maybe there's a bunch of girls that you kind of want to talk to at the club, and you're in your friend group, so you're doing social circle game, but then there's a hot girl at the club. They're all going to see if you go up and get if you get rejected, and that's going to look bad. But actually it doesn't. If you go up and approach a girl, especially a hot girl, and you do it confidently, even if you get rejected, it actually is a net positive, I would say. Maybe for the first few seconds after you get rejected, you're like, oh fuck, and the girls are like, oh okay, he doesn't quite have the best game. But then you keep just like socializing, and then you talk to another girl and she loves you, they're like, okay, well, I like him now. It's the crowd is so fickle, and people's opinions of you are always changing, and that's what social circle does. Is it's always morphing. Some people like you, some people hate you, some people. It's just like a fucking clusterfuck of influence, and your best at pulang. We have a cat. She's right next to her fat ass is moving the camera. Did it mess up the framing? Okay. They love to be involved. If we're doing like a live stream, fucking all of the cats just want to get involved. But she's beautiful, so I forgive her. Okay, so what was I saying? So social circle, just think of it as a pool. And think of, or a lake or an ocean. And think of cold approach as just a fucking raging river. You're just going in and you're just trying to get a girl. And you're just fucking, I'm going in. What you want to take from the social circle guys, the guys who are good at being popular, the guys who know how to dress themselves, the guys who know how to act when you're in a club, the guys who know how to carry themselves in a group environment. When they walk in the club, they know how to just be like, hey, what's up, da-da-da. You want to take that from them and synthesize it into your game. And also, you should be out meeting friends, because it's fun to hang out with friends. Maybe you're just alone and you don't like to, but there's a lot that you're going to lose when you're... Oh, you can just come by, it's fine. There's a lot that you are going to lose when it comes to your game when you're not a guy who's involved with friend groups. Because I have some clients. I have one client, for instance. We were just talking yesterday or the day before. He's really good at getting a date from Bumble or from Tinder. And he's quite consistent at sleeping with these girls. But the problem with him is that there are some ways of expressing himself. I'm going to the core of like just human expression. There's some ways that like he expresses himself facially, body language wise, vocally, the way that he thinks. There's something that's missing from him that makes me think, yeah, this guy fucks. Like he gets fucking pussy. Like there's just something about him that's not quite there. But then I'll meet a cool guy from social circle and he'll have just this like, he'll just have this thing, this X factor, this je ne sais quoi. He'll have that thing about him that's just fucking, yeah, okay, he fucks. And I told him, I was like, dude, I think you need to, because we got him a bunch of success with these girls, and I told him, go day game, go approach girls. He's like, no. I was like, all right, fine. Will you at least go out and like get friend groups? And he's like, yeah, I gotta be honest, I don't have a lot of friends. So he's getting pussy, because there's a lot of guys who are good at hanging out with friends and being a bro, but they're not getting laid at all, right? So I'd rather be the loser with no friends who's at least getting some pussy. But what I told him, I was like, look, I think your overall game will be improved if you just become the kind of guy who's gonna go out and who's going to have friends and who's going to know how to handle complicated situations, because there's so many complicated situations that come up in social circle game, which is usually happening at a private hangout or in a club as a group or in a bar as a group, that you're never going to encounter when you're going one-on-one with a girl. And there's just a certain, it's kind of like cold approach is you just do fucking bench press. You just have a big fucking chest and big arms and a decent back. But social circle is about getting all of these small muscles that you don't normally work out. Now you're doing shoulder presses, now you're doing deadlifts, now you're doing squats, now you're doing calf raises, now you're doing curls, now you're doing tricep raises. Like there's a bunch of small, minuscule muscles that you're doing with free weights that you're gonna get and strengthen your overall body. Like when you do squats, your overall lifts are gonna get better. So social circle is that. It's just gonna make you stronger in general, and you should be focusing on that. So even if you're kind of a lone wolf and a hunter, I think that you should start making friends. I know that sounds really basic, but there's a lot of people who don't have this, especially in this community. And so I want you to start becoming more aware of how to be polite in a group dynamic, how to introduce yourself. If there's a group of people standing around and you don't know them, it kind of depends. If you're a high value guy in the group, if you're well respected and you've known these guys for a long time, it's totally okay for you to go up and be like, hey man, nice to meet you, especially if it's your house or if it's your party, where it's your friends throwing it, someone else comes in, hey man, I'm Hector, nice to meet you, But other times, there's times when you should wait to be introduced, because maybe you don't have the status to kind of put yourself out there, but you can still go for it, but you gotta wait for it, right? Let's say two guys are talking and you're like, hey, nice to meet you. Okay, you didn't really think about that, right? What you do is you wait for their conversation to finish, and then he stands over here, then you're like, hey man, I didn't get a chance to meet you, what's your name? These small politenesses and these small courtesies that you're never going to have unless you're very involved with group dynamics. And so I would say you need to start, the way that you're going to do it is you're going to go out and meet people. If you go out to clubs or bars, you're going to be starting to meet a lot of people. Now you can be going in cold approach. You can go out and say, I'm going to approach this girl and approach this girl. But if you're somewhat of a social person or you want to become a social person, there's nothing wrong with you're standing next to a guy who's really not doing anything and you're like, hey, what's up man, how are you? Or hey, you want to do a fucking shot? That's an amazing way to meet a friend. Be like, hey, you want some free shit? People love free shit, right? Or there's a bunch of girls around, and let's say you see a group of 2 or 3 girls, and you're alone, and there's a guy next to you who's alone, and be like, hey man, how are you? He's like, oh, I'm good. And be like, you see those girls over there? I want to go talk to them, but I could use a wingman. You want to go with me? Yeah, sure. And then you can end up having that can become your best friend. I've met best friends in the most random of situations. And also, even if you're a cold approacher, what'll happen sometimes is if you go and talk to a girl, she's going to be like, hey, I'm here with my friends. Come meet my friends. And if you're really stupid with group dynamics, you're going to totally blow yourself out of the water. And you're just going to go up to the group and you're going to be awkward or weird and just it's not going to work. But then if you have that skill to interact with groups, then you're going to fucking kill it. And those girls are going to love you. And then so they're going to bring you into a social circle environment. You're going to kill it. You're going to be polite. You're going to be nice, but also still kind of talking to your girl. And then they're going to be like, they're going to, slowly start to move away from you two and allow you two to kind of do your own thing. I've had this happen all the time. So you need to become more aware of common courtesies, how to introduce yourself, how to hold a conversation with a guy, how to handle multiple people talking to you at once. Here's one thing. Here's a fun little trick. I'm sure some of you know what this is, but you've never thought about it. You ever had 2 people talk to you at the same time? Where you're standing there and you have, it'll sometimes happen with 2 girls like you, like one girl asks you a question, another girl asks you a question, but the worst is when there's kind of like a silence, and then this person asks you a question, but halfway through them asking the question, this person like is starting to ask you a question, and you're like, who do I respond to first, you know? And you got to know how to react in the moment. And usually one good way is like you go here and then the other person talks. You don't want to ignore them because that's douchey, especially if you just met them, or especially if this guy's higher status. So then you're like, wait a second. You guys both ask me a question at the same time. I answer you, then I'll answer you. And then they're both going to smile and be like, okay, you know, we didn't get ignored, but he's also not just jumping from one guy to another, which would also be douchey. He's handling it with grace and with politeness and with suave. And so these small things that you're never going to learn if you're not handling groups, you want to learn by handling groups and going out and meeting lots of people. And so you do this by just being social in general. You talk to the person giving you coffee. You talk to the grocery worker. You know, hey, how's your day? A lot of times they're just going to go, it's good. And you're like, okay, cool, great. But if you're social enough like this, you're eventually going to encounter a situation where you're going to run into a person where you're just being social with them, and that person ends up changing your life. Maybe they're a cool guy who knows a lot of people in a lot of parties, or they're a super freaking hot girl, or maybe it wasn't the right moment to be like, hey, what's up, baby? You know, what's your name? But it was the right moment to just be like, you know, the group is talking and the girl's standing next to you, and you'd be like, oh, by the way, what's your name? You know, or, you know, you enjoying the party or fucking whatever. And you just have that ability to not be a hunter. You should be a hunter and you should be sexual and embrace your sexuality. You know, don't ever become so focused on status and reputation. And that's the problem with social circle guys. Just like with their unwillingness to go and approach random girls because they're too focused on their status. That's way too feminine. That's when you don't ever want to become too civilized. You want to maintain this beast within you, this hunter. But you do need to become somewhat civilized because we are social animals and we're civilized animals to an extent, I guess. So you want to learn strategic dominance. So here's another thing that a lot of guys miss. A lot of guys who are focused on cold approach, they're going to be focused on, I just got to win this situation. Whereas someone who understands group dynamics, so maybe someone in the group makes a joke that maybe is a bit, I don't know, not quite an insult, but it's on the edge, right? What do? Do you call him out, be like, I don't appreciate that, I don't like that? It depends. How serious was the insult or the joke, right? Or is it better to just be like, that's funny. And then just pass it off, right? Whatever, you laugh it off, and then you keep moving. Then the other people are watching. It's mostly about the fact that do you have an audience or you don't have an audience. You always have an audience, I guess, unless you're in a fucking mountaintop with her alone. And by then you're probably just fucking. You're always going to have an audience, but the question is the audience, is their opinion important? And if the people watching you, if the people in the group, if their opinion is important, then you need to be very careful with how you're acting. You need to be aware of the long-term consequences, because how you act right now, if you're rude to this girl in the group, you know, and even people who are probably watching this, you're like, oh, I'm more of the social guy. I'm not like a pickup artist, or I'm not going out and meeting girls. A lot of times you guys aren't aware of the long-term consequences of your actions. If you're rude to this girl or rude to this girl, you might not feel the effects of it right now, but maybe 2 months later, you have a date with a girl, and she ends up being friends with this random girl that you met, and then she's like, yeah, I'm going on a date with this guy. And then the other girl's like, who? Show me a picture of him. And she's like, oh, I remember that guy. He's a fucking douche. He was a fucking asshole to me. And then she cancels on you, and you lose that. I've had that happen to me. You know, I've been an asshole to someone, and then I find out later on they're friends with someone that I'm interested in, or friends with a friend, and then that negatively affects my ability to get with that girl or my ability to be friends with that person. So I would say if you want to break down social circle versus cold approach, it's a question of long-term consequences versus short-term consequences, and the difference between short-term dominance, like I always have to win every situation, and I have to always, because I notice this is cold approach guys, it's like I have to be the center of attention all the time. A lot of people are like this actually. I gotta be the center of attention. I gotta always have the spotlight on me. I always have to da-da-da-da. Whereas a guy who understands group dynamics, he thinks strategically. He thinks, I need to think, how do I win the war? I want to win the battle if I can, but I'm focusing on winning the war. And so even if you're just a normal guy watching this and you're like, okay, I don't know this pickup community or anything, or if you're a cold approacher and you know you're a pickup artist, I need you to learn how to integrate both into your life, but to think about it smartly. Think about your social circles with intelligence. Pick the right friends. learn how to present yourself eloquently and elegantly and how to be polite, but also learn how to not take shit. But also, if you're not a guy who's ever like gone and talked to a random girl before, you're just the kind of guy who goes out with the buddies and has a drink and just hold your fucking drink right here and, yeah, man, did you like that game last night? Oh, did you watch the fight? Masvidal fucking knocked out Askren in 5 seconds. Oh my god, it was so amazing. And then you're never willing to go out and just talk to that girl. You know, I've seen this all the time. Guys walk around, they're like acting all tough, and they see a hot girl come by, and they're like, hey, let's take some pictures. I'm like, bro, just go talk to her. Why are you being such a fucking pussy, right? So, be a social circle guy. Have friends. You know, go out and meet people to meet people. Obviously, you want to get laid if you want to get laid. You know, don't get too focused on the group because that can happen too. You can be too focused on being popular and cool that you forget about the girl that you're trying to impress with your coolness. But you also need to learn the ability or the knowledge. You need to know that it is possible that if you see a random woman walking on the street during the day, if you see a woman standing next to you at the airport and you just, you know, you think her hair is beautiful, you want to tell her and be like, wow, your hair is beautiful. Or if you see a woman walking down the street, or if you see a girl, you know, she's the barista at fucking Starbucks, like, you have the ability to talk to her and to get her. I would say the majority of you watching this probably need to work on just cold approaching and talking to random girls and knowing you can do that. And there's not a lot of long-term consequences. Maybe she knows someone you know, but who cares? Like, there's nothing bad about talking to a random girl. I feel like there's a weird stigma around this, you know, around this industry and this thing. Like, you're teaching how to, like, go talk to girls? Like, yeah, of course. Seems like the most fucking natural thing in the world. You should be doing this all the time. You need to know that you can talk to any girl, anytime, anywhere, and you can get laid. If you want a complete process for this, we actually have something in the description called One Date. You can check it out. It teaches you the complete process from meeting her to getting her number to asking her out to take her on a date, get her home for the date, fuck her, and turn her into her girlfriend all in one date. Hence the name One Date. So check it out. It's in the description below. If you're on Instagram, fucking click one of my links on my page and check it out in our YouTube videos. So yeah, that's the general distinction between social circle and cold approach, and basically the answer is you need to be good at both. If you're looking to get laid right away, cold approach. If you're looking to have a lot of cool friends, get invited to cool parties, usually you're gonna get a lot hotter girls in social circle, because once you're in her circle, you're fuckable. Once you're in a girl's circle, you're on the radar. Whereas cold approach, if you want to go cold approach a fucking gorgeous girl who's like an amazing girl, she's a doctor, she's gorgeous, great ass, she's got all this amazing things. You gotta have some skills, you know. You gotta have some skills, and it's going to be a much more high risk, high reward kind of situation. But social circle, you can also make a lot of mistakes. Long-term consequences are important to realize, and that you shouldn't fuck up, but it's okay to fuck up because we're humans. But you're gonna get a lot of chances, you know, unless you do something horrid, you're not gonna get kicked out of the group, right? And so you can see how social dynamics work much more detailed in social circle too. I've noticed that because you can see the long-term consequences of your actions, you can kind of just like analyze like it's a fucking train, and you can see every wheel and every cog, and you can kind of see, oh, I remember when I did that, this, then, and maybe that's why she's acting like a bitch right now, and okay, how do I change directions, it's very cool analytically. So yeah, that's my spiel, that's my rant. But the best answer is, if you're a cold approacher, if you're really good at just meeting girls, then I think you should transition to learning how to meet groups and see if you like that. And if you're normally the kind of guy who just hangs out with groups and gets girls from those situations, I definitely think that you need to go and meet women from cold approach, because even though you can get the hotter girls in social circle, you can get the overall higher quality girls in cold approach, because you can go talk to that random girl that you would never meet normally, because you and her social stratas and you and her groups would never meet. She's the kind of girl, she's at the club, she's got the fanciest VIP, and every fucking guy and baller she has so many walls surrounding her socially. But if you just see her at the grocery store, there's not a bouncer who's gonna be like, you're not on the list, fuck you, bitch. Like, you can just go talk to another human being. And so that's gonna allow you to meet the greatest kind of girlfriend girls who are just gonna be amazing partners for you, who are not only beautiful but really high status, but you would never meet them. because you're not running in the same circles, or you are, but you're not high enough status. And then if you just want to have a lot of fun and have crazy parties, have a crazy life, then social circle is your best bet. But they intertwine. They intertwine. There's distinctions, obviously, that I've pointed out, but you're still just talking to people. So yeah, that's my huge fucking rant. Holy shit. Okay, let's go to questions. Let's check Instagram real quick, and then we will move to, oh, hi, beautiful. Nice to see you too. Anyone from Brazil watching this? I don't know. Should you care if you're an asshole if you deserve it? What do you mean if you deserve it? Don't feel comfortable to ask a question. You give value already, but how do you deal with your mother trying to keep you her little boy and your father being a pussy? Ooh, that's interesting. So if your dad's a pussy and your mom kind of runs the household, but she's trying to keep you her little boy, best thing would be to move out. That's the best way to assert your independence. Mothers are amazing, but sometimes their love can become too strong, and their love and their desire to keep you. It's almost like when women are raising sons, they're trying to craft their ideal man. But the problem is, because they're trying to craft their ideal man, is they don't allow the flaws that actually make a man really attractive. And also because you're being molded in her image, you don't ever get the chance to make your own image. You want to make yourself in your own image. And so if your dad is, and if your dad's a pussy, then he's a bad influence. So you just need to get away. You just need to get away, because that's his life. You're not responsible for your father's dominance and his value. So if he's being a pussy and your mom's just fucking walking all over him, it's just a bad influence. You need to get out, because that's going to slowly infect your mind subconsciously and consciously of what's appropriate, like allowing a woman to kind of stomp all over you when really you should be the king in the fucking castle. So move out ASAP. That should be your first, even if you have to live in the fucking shittiest apartment, if you have to live in your friend's fucking couch, his closet, I don't give a shit, get the fuck out. Okay. How do you invite girls to hang out with a group of friends? I generally wouldn't. That's actually an interesting distinction. So if you have a girl that you like, I wouldn't invite her to hang out with friends. I would invite her on a date, because I'm trying to fuck. Because what happens is you bring her on the group of friends, what's going to happen is either you get distracted by socializing with friends and you kind of fuck shit up, or maybe she likes one of your friends better. So you pretty much just introduced your own competition, because that's the whole point of cold approach, is to avoid the competition and the fucking loud, drunk, aggressive dumbasses. I really don't like going out that much anymore. I prefer to hang out privately with friends, because I know that at the point that I am, I could literally say hi to a girl and boyfriends will come up and put their arm around her. Be like, I'm with her. I'm like, cool, dude. You just totally made yourself look like a fucking bitch. I ruined your relationship in fucking 3 seconds. You just look like an insecure little cunt. And all I did was say hi to her, you know? Or maybe I wasn't even saying hi to her. I was just sitting next to her and he comes over and like puts his arm around her to like show his property. I'm like, you're a fucking retard, right? So I don't like these environments. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh, bring in a girl to hang out with friends. I would just avoid this. I would, especially if you guys go out to like a club or a bar, because who knows? Maybe your friends, she doesn't like your friends, but then there's a random guy at the bar and you step away for a minute to get a drink or something, and then some other guy cold approaches her, and you're like, you think in your mind, I brought her, but she's not your property, bro. You know, she's not yours. You can do whatever the fuck she wants, but you just introduced that unnecessary wild card that ended up fucking you over. So I wouldn't invite a girl to hang out with friends unless you've already been sleeping with her. Once you're sleeping with her, then you can invite her out, because then she's like yours, you know. The only time that it's probably good to invite a girl out with a group of friends to party, one, if you're not attracted to her, but I'm of the belief that no one's really truly friends between guys and girls unless it's because of like a connection that you happen, you know, like you go hang out with your boyfriend and, you know, his friends are your friends. But I would say that if a girl and a guy have their own like friendship, and it is extended beyond just the most courteous of just, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm good, how are you? There's going to be some attraction either way. Someone's going to be attracted to someone. So I would say you can invite a girl out that you're not attracted to if you're genuinely not attracted to her. But I've seen a lot of guys bullshit themselves. Some guys are like, yeah, you know, she's just my friend. That's cool. You know, you can hit on her. And then I start hitting on her, and I can see he's getting upset, or I can see he wanted to fuck her. But because he lacked the confidence and the balls to just like claim like I want to go after her, then you know he made it harder on himself. Or if I am trying to fuck a girl, but she won't hang out with me privately, like, I don't know, she thinks I'm a fuckboy. She's like, no, I'm not gonna hang out with you. I'll go with you and your friends, though. That happens sometimes. Or maybe she's just not that interested in you in general. And she's like, invite her out to a group. And then maybe she's gonna see a new side of you. You know, you couldn't get her on a coffee date or a drink date, but now she sees you interacting with friends, and she sees how cool you are, and oh, she sees you go and approach that girl. Oh no, she's interested. It happens. It's fucking annoying, but you can use a party date as a what would be the right way to put this? I don't know, like a side trick. I don't know, like a little detour way to your destination. You could do that. You could definitely do that. What do you do if you don't speak the native language? You cannot speak the native language, and you can still seduce a very beautiful woman. You know, maybe she just speaks Russian and doesn't speak any English. You know, you can just talk over Google Translate. She's staring at me. Yeah, you don't have to speak we have technology now, and you know the language of love is more about like, you know, giving them little winks and little smiley faces. You know, you can have fun without knowing the native language. I mean, a few words helps. But remember, when you're fucking, you're not speaking languages. You know, there's just like, and you're not speaking anything. So yeah, it's not that important. It helps. It helps for sure. But it's not necessary. Although, yeah, you go and learn a few words. Learn how to say beautiful. That was the first word I learned in Romania. It's frumoasă or frumoasă. And then when I went to Ukraine, you know, one of the first words I learned was like, how do I say beautiful? Krusivaya. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, that's useful. You know, if you walk up to a girl and you look good, you know, and you're just like, Krusivaya. And the girl's like, oh, that's so cute. Where are you from? So yeah. What do you think about, that was weird. Like, what do you think about asking a cashier at the grocery store that you frequent? Ooh, that could be fun. I'll move to YouTube in a second. I'm just getting these. I'm back, bro. I know, I took a break. From where are you Latino? My father's from Chile. So I'm half Chileno, half white, basically. French/English, but yeah. What do you think about asking a cashier at a grocery store that you frequent out? Well, it could be awkward if you ask her out and she says no. I've done that before. It wasn't quite awkward, actually. I was standing in line, and there was the security guard of the Whole Foods behind me, and I had asked out this cashier before, the girl. She's really cute, and she said maybe next time I see you. And so I get in line, and she sees me, and she smiles, so it's not like I'm just some fucking stalker. And standing behind me is one of the security guards at the Whole Foods, and I start talking to him about, I don't know, fucking something, and I go up and I'm like, hey, how are you? And she's like, oh, hi, nice to see you again. I was like, yeah, you know, da-da-da. It's like, so, you know, I had some food going through the conveyor belt, so I was like, yeah, so I'm going to cook dinner again, you know, maybe you can join me. And she's like, I don't know, maybe. And then I turn to the security guard and I'm like, you think she should have dinner with me? He's like, definitely. She should definitely go out with you. And I'm like, fuck yeah. And she was really thinking about it. But then there was, I think the manager, he was standing like in the corner because she kind of did one of these and she saw him and he had this fucking death glare. So I'm sure that like, because guys are so protective. Oh my God. If there's a guy in her friend group and she's hot, he wants to fuck her. 100%. Never an exception. And so he's probably just giving her those hawk eyes that like basically communicates like, if you fucking give this guy your number and he fucks you and I'm the manager, I'm the big man and I don't get to fuck you, like, fuck this guy. It's okay. If he gets a chance with you and I don't, I'm gonna give you death eyes for the rest of the fucking week. You know, there's just a bunch of like unspoken consequences to disrupting a very tight-knit social circle, especially work, because work is kind of like double, Because if it's just friend groups, it's volatile because those are people that they spend a lot of time with. But if it's somewhere where she works, then she's got a lot of risk because that's where she makes her fucking money. And that's where people see her a majority of the week. She hangs out with them more than any other circle. So you gotta be very careful. But I would say it's worth the fucking risk. Who fucking knows? No, fucking go for it. I've fucked baristas or waitresses or bartenders. Like, it's exciting. So go for it. Just be aware. Would you consider yourself as an entrepreneur? I technically own a business. So yeah. How do you make a living what you do? I do this mostly. I get paid to do YouTube and I do coaching. And I was writing articles, but I'm focusing more on YouTube and Instagram now. How do I get started? Did you study to become what you are? I got started in college. If you want to see my full story, in the description below I have a book that I wrote based on my adventures in college. This is where I learned my social skills. This is where I learned how to talk to people. I was going to parties, being in a fraternity. Just being like, I had this ideal in my head. I was like, I want to be well known. I want to fuck girls from the hottest sororities, the most popular sororities. I want everyone to know my name, and I got what I wanted. It turned out to be a double-edged sword, and it was a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. When everyone knows your business, it's kind of a weird thing. It's super weird. Like, literally everyone knows everything about you, and you're like, what the fuck? Nothing's a secret. So I kind of understand what celebrities go through, not to that extent, obviously, but a little bit. So that's where I learned my social skills. And then I started to hone my individual skills once I got out of college, and I found I found Girls Chase. So how I got like into this community was I found the website that I now work for. What you're watching right now is Girls Chase. I found this website because I was in Sweden and I was Googling how to like meet random girls during the day because I was used to meeting girls at night at frat parties. So I was a social circle guy, going back to the fucking point of the video. I was a big social circle guy. My cold approach was kind of, I'd talked to some random girls obviously before, but I was mostly familiar with talking to people within my group. And so I found this website and then I was like, oh wow, there's this thing called Pickup. And I got really nerdy about it and I wanted to learn how this works. And so that's how I got officially indoctrinated into Pickup and Seduction. But it had already been something that I was obsessed with personally. And then I started writing on the forums, and Chase, the guy who owns the website, he started to notice my skills through my stories, and he's like, wow, you're really good. Like, you know what you're doing. You have an interesting perspective and an interesting style. Because I'm very direct. Like, I tell girls, like, I want to fuck you. You can ask the girls I date. You can tell them. I'm just like, hey, baby, you want to fuck? And they're like, oh, okay. It's quite direct, but it's charming. And so I kind of developed like a little bit of a fandom within the Girls Chase community. And then I told Chase, like, can I write some articles? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then went from there. Wrote articles, started doing coaching. I took over the YouTube channel, started my Instagram. So, yeah. How would you invite yourself at a girl's house when on a date? That's in a situation where you can't bring your girl home. Oh, okay, yeah, I got you. So if you're in a situation where you want to go to her place rather than yours specifically for whatever reason, you want to see if she has roommates. Like, oh yeah, you can do this in the conversation. You know, you get information throughout the seduction. So be like, oh, you know, so you have any roommates? Maybe she mentions it on her own. And she's like, yeah, I got one roommate. You're like, oh, cool. And then she's like, yeah, but she's out of town this weekend. Now you know, right? Cool. Or yeah, she's home. Be like, oh, is she one of those, you know, lame, you know, house bodies who never goes out? And they're like, no, she goes out and parties. Or sometimes you're like, yeah, she's like a fucking super introvert. And be like, oh, does she make you, you're getting information through these questions. And be like, oh, does she make you like, you can't, you know, be loud past 10 p.m. And she's like, yeah, she's like, gets super upset if like I make any noise. Cause then you're like, fuck, if we do go home. I remember that happened one time. I went home with this girl. I was in Denver and I met her on the street and then we were supposed to go to a museum, but she's like, oh, I'm still doing homework, but if you just want to come over, that's fine. I was like, oh, okay, sure, yeah. So I head over, we go in her room and she's like, yeah, we got to close the door and be kind of quiet. Cause my roommate, she's kind of like kind of an introvert. And I just saw this chick on the fucking couch just watching TV, and I don't know, there was just a weird vibe. You know, you can just see people and there's weird vibes, like they have a weird aura. Yeah, it was just a weird it was just a weird aura. So We go in the room and we're talking, and she's like, you know, showing me stuff. She's like, hey, here's this scarf that I don't use anymore. You want to have it? Like, yeah, of course. It was like a Brooks Brothers scarf. I was like, that's fucking high quality. And then we're laying on the bed, and she's like, I was like, you want to go out? I was like, no, we should just stay here. I'm like, fuck, I'm already in her room. I'm not going to ruin this. And so we smoked some weed, which was legal, technically. So I am not endorsing illicit drug use. It was in Colorado. It was recreational illegal, and I was of the legal age. Boom. Gotcha. So we were sitting on the bed. We smoke a bowl. And we turn on Netflix for, I don't know, about 30 seconds, and I start making out with her. And she fucking says to me, she's like, look, I wanted to have sex with you, but why don't we just go out first and party, and then we can go back and have sex? I was like, fuck that, let's just fuck right now. And I was like, all right, fine. And we fuck, and I'm like, you're a little slut, aren't you? She's like, shh. She's like, yeah, I like it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna come on your face. She's like, shh. Because she started like moaning, and then I put my hand on her mouth. I was like, gotta be quiet, roommate. So, basically, the point of the story is roommates can really fuck up if you're trying to get back to her place. If she doesn't have a roommate situation, then it should be pretty easy to figure out, or to go back to her place. What you can say is, you don't want to be too polite about it. You want to be like, can I come to your place, please? You just be like, hey, let's go back to your place. The same way you would invite a girl back to your place. Just the fact that you want to go to her place because of X situation. And if you do the research beforehand by asking her the right questions, I have a speech impediment now, the right questions, like, do you have roommates? What other situation would really fuck up? Is anyone visiting, you know? Parents. Oh, yeah, if they live with their parents, exactly, yes. If they live with parents, roommates, or someone's visiting, that's going to fuck up your ability to, I mean, I've heard of stories of, besides girlfriends, have I been to someone's house when they had a parent and fucked them? I can't remember. I've heard of people doing it though, like they had to sneak into her room even though she had parents and they fucked. So it's possible, you know, these are barriers that are going to lessen the probability of you getting a yes, and you should screen for them beforehand by asking the right questions. But even if they come up, at least you know that that's a possible excuse. So if you know that she lives with her parents, you'd be like, it's okay, we'll be quiet. You know, we'll watch a movie, we really chill. I'll sneak in through the window. If a girl really likes you, she'll climb obstacles with you. But it's better to know that you have these obstacles in front of you. Then you can overcome them because you know exactly what you pull out now. He just dropped a bunch of soda. Okay. That's classic. Okay. Fuck it. We keep going. Okay. So, one of my friends is holding some drinks and he dropped it. It's funny. My live stream is so enthralling that no, it's okay. Basically, if you want to invite yourself to a girl's place, just ask. Just be like, hey, let's screen beforehand, and then say, you know, hey, how about we go back to your place? And then you're as direct as you want to be. With me, I'd be like, let's just go back to your place. Fuck, you know. Or if you're just like, let's go watch a movie or whatever the fuck you want to do, just suggest it. You know, don't treat it as a big deal. It is a little bit of a bigger deal because you're going to her place, so it's a little bit. Well, some girls actually feel safer at their place. Some girls will actually feel more comfortable at their place, especially if they have a roommate. Because then they're like, well, if this guy turns out to be like a serial killer, at least I have like a roommate that can help me like bring him down, you know? So it can be fun. It can be fun for sure. Okay, so let's move on to one of my YouTube questions. Oh, hello, beautiful. How are you? What's up, Hector? I get a lot of positive reactions from girls. Can't seem to get a one-night stand, which is my goal to get that down. I've been told I'm hot, dressed nice, and that girls like my vibe, but in bars and clubs, I can't seem to get girls to come home with me. I come off very directly, a lot of calibrated touching, sex jokes, and flirtation, okay? I deep dive sometimes, but I notice girls in bars and clubs seem kind of bored when I do that, especially younger girls, which is what I'm going for. I've been screening them a lot more, and if they have a lot of friends or it seems like I won't be able to pull, I'll usually move on. But then I realize girls are always out with their friends, and so as a man that goes out solo and with a way to approach, how do I accomplish this? There's a few things. If you're being really direct and you're getting compliments that you're really sexy, what you're encountering is attainability problems. Your biggest problem is that you come off as a fuckboy, and this is something that I encounter. I don't have a problem attracting girls. I know the moment I see her if she's attracted to me or not. The biggest problem that I have is girls don't want to just be another girl that I fuck. They don't just want to be the next notch on my bedpost. They don't, or maybe they do want to fuck me really bad, but they're like, I know that nothing serious is going to come of it afterwards. And so you can just fucking ask them, you know, are you inviting them home? Be like, yeah, let's go back to my place. No, I'm gonna stay with my friends. Why? Tell me. If you're being really direct, you can try some direct game. I'll teach you some direct game. Just fucking say to her, like, be like, what is it about me that makes you, I don't know, hesitant? And they're gonna be like, I don't know, you just kind of, they're gonna usually tell you. If you ask a girl a very direct, sincere question about how you come off to her, she's usually gonna say, you know, you're too smooth, you're a fuckboy, I know you're not gonna call me back, whatever. And then once you know what it is, her problem, then you can solve it. What you can also do is you can just avoid the problem in the first place, tone yourself down so that you're not coming off as such a fuckboy. Kind of, let's say if you're gonna say 10 words, say 5. If you're gonna touch her 3 times, touch her 1 time. Like just cut everything down so that you're not being as, you know? Or just get really good at just steamrolling past objections. Like, hey, let's go outside. No, I gotta stay with my friends. Oh, just come with me for 5 minutes. Come on, grab her hand, just fucking start walking. Right? Be super, if you're gonna be that fuckboy, be a fuckboy. Like, fucking own that shit, right? Just be super, super direct. When I notice, okay, here's my style. If I get objections, like, oh no, I gotta do this, and you know, I'm gonna stay with my friends, I take that ball and I go, whoo, and fucking throw it as far as I can. And I'll be like, obviously I wanna fuck you, what's the issue? Something of that sort. Obviously, I'll phrase it in a nice way. You know, I'll kind of stop and I'll look at her and I'll be like, "What's going on? Tell me." Obviously, you're attracted to me. I'm attracted to you. I think you're fucking sexy. You got a great ass. You got great lips. I'd love to stick my dick in there. What's going on? What's your hesitance? And they're gonna be like, "Oh fuck." They're gonna know it's time to, like, this is do or die time. And you put them on the spot, and then they're gonna tell you the truth of what it is. They're gonna be like, you're just kind of too smooth. Most of what I hear. It's like I said, you probably do this a lot. I don't want to just be another girl. Those kind of objections. That's called attainability. The way you get rid of attainability is, one, you just explain to her what's up. You can be like, yeah, we might just fuck for tonight and that's it. But why is that a bad thing? You know, it's better than going home alone. Be like, well, why can't we just have a great time and then that's it? Or who knows? This is a great one too. Who knows? We have a great time together and then we end up seeing each other again. Or not. I'm not going to promise you anything. Because what a lot of guys are probably going to be doing is they're going to try and promise her things that they can't deliver, and that's really shitty. That's sleazy. Or they're going to play the opposite role. They're not going to be a fuckboy, but they really still want to fuck, but they're pretending not to be a fuckboy. Every guy's a fuckboy, just some are honest about it and some aren't. So, yeah, if you're leaving girls because they have a lot of friends, here's the other thing. Learn how to deal with friends. This is what I fucking talked about today. Learn how to do social circle game. Sometimes I predict these things. I don't know how. Learn how to deal with group dynamics. Learn how to deal with a situation where she has friends, a lot of friends. You can seduce her, but can you seduce her and her 6 friends? That takes fucking skill. That's like I could juggle these 2 things. Probably not. They'd fucking spill all over me. But can I juggle these things while I write fucking War and Peace in Russian with my fucking pen in my mouth? Can you handle a lot of fucking things at once? And if you can do that, girls see this. So you go and talk to her. She loves you. She's talking to you. You're grabbing her ass. You're making out. Hey, let's go home. No, I'm here with my friends. Be like, let's go meet your friends. Then you go with her and her friends, and you start talking to her friends, and like, hey, girls, nice to meet you. I'm Hector, da-da-da. My friends call me Poppy, though, da-da-da. Oh, Poppy, da-da-da-da. And you start having a fucking good time, and they're like, oh, nice to meet you. What do you do? Well, you know, da-da-da. What the fuck, da-da-da. And you start having a group fun dynamic, and they enjoy the fucking shit out of you. Then, even though she still has these objections about you being a fuckboy, because you obviously are, but like I said, every guy's a fuckboy, just some guys are honest about it and some guys aren't. You're gonna be talking to her and her friends are gonna like you so much that even though she thinks you're a fuckboy, she's still gonna have sex with you. Because you just did this amazing juggling act where you handled her and her friends at the same time. Yeah. So that is how you handle your situation mostly. That was 3 solutions for you to deal with. Okay. Can you tell us some common indicators of attainability issues? I've noticed that when girls say, do you approach often, it's obviously a potential issue. Yeah, if you get girls saying, do you do this a lot? Do you go and talk to random girls a lot? That's an attainability issue. My best response is, yeah, if I see a pretty girl, I'm gonna go talk to her. You just fucking own it, right? So, but that makes you special too. It's like, yeah, if I see a girl worth approaching, that's what you're communicating. If I see a girl worth approaching, of course I'm gonna go approach her. But it's kind of a stupid objection. Girls are kind of, people are stupid. But this particular issue of girls like, you probably did this a lot. How do you expect me to ever get anything ever? Am I supposed to just sit in my chair and never talk to a girl again? Because what they're saying is, am I special? And then the retort is kind of funny. It's like, they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna be another girl you fucked. And then you ask her, you ever fucked someone else before? Well, yeah. Okay, so if I fuck you, I'm just gonna be another dick, huh? You're just gonna objectify me. Am I just a fucking dick with legs? Am I why am I not special? Why didn't you save yourself for me? It's kind of funny, but it's absurd. It's an absurd reaction. What they're basically saying is, not even am I special, but do I have a chance of being more than just a sexual option? Because that's how girls generally value themselves. It's not to fuck hot guys. Any girl over a 7 can fuck a guy who's a 10. What determines a girl's self-worth is mostly, because I've talked to women and I know them, is that guy gonna call me back and want to see me again? Even if it's just for sex, he's gonna want to see me again. And then on a higher level, is he gonna want anything more from me? That's really what it is. Does he want more than just sex from me? Because every girl knows that every guy wants to fuck them. If she's above a fucking 6, she could probably fuck most guys. You get a guy with super high standards, but you put a fucking couple drinks in him. Honestly, I don't know if it's a Latino thing or it's just a fuckboy thing, I don't know. If a girl has a nice ass, if her face is like busted, then, we got some issues. But like, if she got a nice ass, I'm willing to forgive a lot of behaviors and looks if she's got a nice ass, right? So most girls can fuck a really, really hot guy, but the question is, can she keep him? That's the big test. Okay, I've had so much sex at the beginning of the relationship, and now 8 months, only once a week, and she tells me she hasn't got the lust. Can you help me? Yeah, I can. So what has changed specifically? Usually if you're seeing a decrease in sex, usually you were no longer seducing her, which means you're not like actually talking to her anymore, and like kissing her on the cheek and grabbing her ass in public and having fun. You can't ever stop seducing your girlfriend. That's what a lot of guys do. They stop seducing their girlfriends. They get complacent and they get lazy. You got to realize you got to keep seducing your girl. Or what happens is they start to let go of themselves. They start putting on weight. They stop focusing on their passion. Because a lot of what motivates men to become great men, to achieve great things and to become in good shape, take care of themselves, is to secure a mate. But a lot of guys, and I know this because even I've done it, once you secure your mate, you become lazy. You should do the opposite. Once you get a girlfriend or you get someone like super serious, you should go super ambitious. Start using that as fuel, because now you've got consistent sex. But a lot of times consistent sex is going to make guys lazy. It's kind of like once you become rich. Look at celebrities. Like, they start to just go off the rails because now you have all of the alcohol, women, drugs, attention. You have anything you could ask for. Like that. You want a fucking premium Kobe steak from Japan flown to you not by tonight, but like within the next 2 days, you could literally do it because you have the ability. Because when you have too much comfort and too much abundance, you can actually become lazy. And what happens is, because you're becoming lazy and you're no longer that amazing man, the guy who got her so attracted, the guy who made her so wet is no longer there because he got super lazy. Because he's no longer pushing himself, and a man constantly has to be pushing himself. Obviously, you don't have to be on the grind 24/7, but you do need to be improving yourself. And when you get in a relationship, you usually get really lazy. So I'd say you're no longer seducing your girlfriend, or you've gotten complacent. Yeah. One other solution is you can go fuck another girl. That always gets you to kind of get your edge back. Is go get some new pussy. So that's another option. Those are 3 general good options if you and your girl are not having a lot of sex anymore. I could use a little bit more context. That would probably help. Yeah, my Instagram live is about to go dead. I'll restart it, but I need to go to the bathroom. YouTube people, you're going to be still watching, so I'm going to have to take a little bathroom break. I will be back. Where is he? He's in that.
He's taking a shower.
He's taking a shower.
I think so.
Fuck, do you have something I can
You're dying, right?
Are you taking a shower or are you peeing? Fuck. Yeah, I gotta pee. No, I don't care. Do you care? Oh. Well, I don't care. We can be best friends already. Oh, they're hearing this too, all of them. I don't care. I don't care. I'll pee in front of. Well, actually, I don't have a problem peeing in front of you. What?
Just keep it simple for the.
For the easy
like
chicken
yeah.
Well, you've never been in the same room as your friend and you pee?
I've always been the same room. I always do it.
Okay, well, I'll keep going then. Fuck it. Alright, assholes. The bathroom is currently being occupied right now. So I'll just keep fucking peeing. Or I'll keep talking. Alright. Let's go for another one. Okay, any simple date ideas? Okay, simple date ideas. Some simple date ideas would be, I always do coffee, drinks, or go for a walk. Or ice cream. Yeah, those are my favorite. Coffee, drinks. Drinks are fun because you guys get a little bit twisted and then, inhibitions go lower. But going for a walk is really, really nice. And because these are activities where you can sit next to each other and you can have a nice conversation. And you can get to know each other. And a walk is really great because it feels like there's movement. So you feel like there's progress, there's something going on. So I would say, yeah, those are my favorite. Most of the girls that I get is from coffee, drinks, or walking. And it's just simple. You're just getting to know each other. That's it. Show us your cat. Oh, bring Bastet. David.
Yes.
Can you get the cat? They want to see her.
They're eating.
Oh, they're
You
eating.
want to see the cat?
That's okay. They're eating. We don't want to throw them.
Yeah. Both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm no longer seducing her, but how should I do it? Because at the beginning it was easy. There's that flirtatious vibe. Now I try to do the same thing, like being verbally dirty, not helping. Now she probably thinks you just don't care about her, or she's cheating on you. But I don't think it's gone that far, hopefully. If you're talking dirty to her, but it's not turning her on, then she feels like you don't care about her anymore. If a girl knows that you care about her, you could say the nastiest shit to her. You can be so dirty to her. But if she doesn't think you care about her, then what's happening is if you talk dirty to her, now she's thinking, yeah, you just want sex. When you should be like, hey baby, how are you? How's your day? Fucking listen to her. Listen to what's going, all those jokes about guys wanting their wife to shut up. That's why their wife cheats on them. That's why their wife leaves them. Because he just wants to just fucking ignore her and get sex on demand. You can't do that. Obviously, you need time for yourself, but if your wife or your girlfriend or a girl you're seeing she wants to express herself to you and she wants to talk to you, you gotta fucking talk to her, you know? Like you gotta let me start this live again. Girls are starved for connection and sex. Girls are absolutely starved. They're fucking wiggling my chair. If you would understand that it's very simple, that if you can give a woman a good connection, and a good connection means you fucking use your ears. If you use your ears with women and you actually listen to what they're really saying and you put the effort into actually getting to know them and actually wanting to get to know them and being genuinely curious about what it is that makes them tick, then they are going to allow you to do anything to them. As long as a woman knows you respect her and you love her and you want to get to know her, she will let you do anything to her body, within reason. And he's slowly not enjoying it. What I'm at. Bye. Okay. So that was Ra. That's one of the cats for the guy who asked. There's another one. Yeah, I turned off my IG live. It's back on if you want to check it. Chase is not here. What is Chase here? I'm like, yeah, he's just living in right here next to me. He's like, no, he's got his, I take care of this for him. Yeah, get over here, buddy. Get it. No, he's doing his own thing. I'm taking care of this for him. You got me. Okay. So, yeah, you're probably not talking to her a lot. If you're talking dirty to her, I mean, you might just be doing it shitty. But if you're trying to seduce her sexually, but you're not seducing her emotionally, then you're not giving her the full package. Seduction is simple. Give her good emotions, give her sex. She loves you. So start listening to her. Ask her how her day is. Ask her how everything's going. Then, if that doesn't work, then you need to just pull back. Then you need to be like, all right, I'm trying to make a connection with you. I'm trying to fuck you. You don't want any of that? Cool. You don't want to have sex with me? I'll go find someone who will. If your girlfriend doesn't want to have sex with you, go find someone who will have sex with you. That shit. You don't have to sit around and just fucking put up with that. You're in a relationship with her for a reason. To have a connection, to have love, and to have sex. And if she doesn't want to give you either, then go get a new girlfriend. When you're on a date with a girl, is she giving IOs to other guys while you're there? What are you doing about it? Just being cool? Like if I'm at coffee, is a girl like... I mean, if a guy walks by and he's attractive, will she look at him? Yeah. But if she's like talking to you on coffee and she's like looking at other guys like this, oh, you need to do something. You just need to leave probably at that point. No, I've never really had that. I'm trying to think. I'm on a date with a girl and she like starts flirting with a... The only time I've ever had that happen is at like a party situation. Yeah, and that's why you don't go to parties. Don't introduce competition. But like us hanging out during the day, or us getting food and maybe the waiter's attractive. I mean, maybe she'll smile at him, But yeah, you just ignore it. There's nothing there's nothing you want to do. If it's super blatant, like, yeah, I've never had that happen. I'm trying to think. No. No. So yeah, but I guess the context is really important, but I would just ignore it. If it's a small thing, like you can't stop the fact that she's gonna find a guy attractive. But if she looks at him for like 3 seconds and like smiles, that's it. Who cares? She's gonna walk by and that's it. So, there's Bastet. There's the other one. Hello, beautiful. Chipula, man. She's getting so fat, man.
Can't see from my phone.
You can't see her? Oh yeah, like Simba.
She just ate, so she might be.
Hey, what's up, man? Long time no see. Oh man. Cool. Okay. So what else are we dealing with? Show us your cat. I showed you the cat. Any other questions? Oh, okay. I recently set with a girl from Cold Approach. Turns out my buddy is also hitting it. wait, what? So I fucked a girl from Cold Approach. Turns out my friend is having sex with her too, unbeknownst to both of us until now. Advice? Okay, so he fucked a girl randomly that he met, and then found out that his friend is also having sex with her. They didn't know, like, beforehand. They didn't know until after. I'm sure they were like, "Hey, I fucked this girl," and he's like, "Oh yeah, what's her name?" And he's like, "Oh, that sounds familiar. Show me a picture." And probably he's like, "Oh, I hit that too." Well, the first thing you should do is high five each other, and then I've had situations where I had a girl sleep with a friend, and then I fucked her after. So a lot of times I knew, but I knew that wasn't important to him. If they were like, he liked her or they were serious, yeah, of course, I would never even come close. But I knew that it was just a fuck, you know, because I know him, because I'm talking to him every day. Or I would sleep with the girl and then he would sleep with her. Though most of the time, guys can't sleep with the girls I sleep with. I usually sleep with their girls. When it's happened, we usually discuss it. If you can tell he likes her, stop and ask him. If you like her, I wouldn't keep seeing her, because I wouldn't be okay with like getting serious with a girl that I knew like fucked my friend like a week or two before me. Just, I don't care how amazing she is. Fuck you. Fuck you. Don't ever say League of Legends is better than Dota. Don't ever fucking say that. Get off my Instagram. Some guy came on Instagram and he put LOL is better than Dota. No. League of yeah, how old are you? Are you 12? Are you fucking 12?
It might be, yeah.
League of Legends is better than Dota. This guy is fucking 12 years old. Go enjoy your fucking shitty ass game with your shitty ass graphics and your shitty ass fact that you can't deny creeps, so it's just a one-dimensional game. Yeah, well, that's, yeah. Dota is for men. League is for children. Go fuck yourself. When I was like, fuck you, David's like, what's up? What happened, you know? Okay, so, let the whole squad hit it? Oh my god. So he's like, I fucked this girl. Did you hear me?
Okay.
Did you hear me what I just said? So this guy, he's the student. He fucked a girl, and then he found out after that his friend had also fucked her, but they didn't know, because it's just a random girl, you know. Then they both found out that they're having sex with the same girl, and he's like, "What do I do?" Like he fucked her 3 weeks ago, and then I met her and fucked her, but we didn't know.
It was just like casual.
Yeah, just random. And then he's like, "Should I let everyone fuck her?" And I was like, "I guess if you want to. If you don't care about her." I mean, yeah, go ahead. You know, just tell everyone you can have it. If you like her, stop. If he likes her, stop. If you both don't give a fucking shit and she's just a random girl you're having sex with, just keep fucking her. There you go, just fuck her. Yeah. If occasionally you want to have sex with her, call her over. You know, I had that happen where with this girl that I was, one girl, she actually watched me play Smite, not League of Legends. Smite's a great game. It's like League of Legends, but from a third-person perspective, but from you're looking at it. And I remember I met this girl. She told me she wanted to fuck me a couple weeks before this, or a month or so before it, but I went home with a different girl that night. She was at the house, the fraternity house, and I just looked at her and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to my room if anyone wants to come hang out with me." Nudge, nudge. So I went to my room and I started playing video games. Like 15 minutes later, she shows up. She's like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" So she comes, she sits down, she watches me fucking play Smite for an hour. And she's like, it's like insulting me. She's like, "You suck," even though I think we won. But she's like, "Oh, no. Like, okay, whatever. So I finished the game and then we're making out, whatever. She's like, "Well, I gotta be honest, I fucked your friend." I was like, "Oh, who?" She tells me, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it's like my best friend." This is way back in college. And I was like, "Yeah, so what's the deal?" She says, "I don't want to be a homie hopper." Like hopping between homies, like I don't want to be a homie hopper. And I was like, we don't give a shit. Like I don't, you know, obviously I had no interest in her beyond sex, and I don't think he did either. She was a cute girl, but she wasn't anything special. And so I just basically had to convince her that it wasn't a big deal. And we had sex, and then I think I fucked her 2 more times, and I know he fucked her, I think, 1 more time too. That's it, you know? So if you don't care about her, and he doesn't care about her, then keep fucking her. Why not? It's pussy. Okay, so, huh? Oh, toilet free. Fuck. Alright, guys, I gotta pee. Really bad. I'll be back. Yeah. Okay, I'm back, guys. Right. Super quick. What's my rank in Dota? I am Archon 5. So like 2400. It's like, I'm like above average. That's about it, yeah. I think I should be better, but you know, whatever. Shit happens. It's always other people's fault, you know, it's never my fault. Do I play video games with girls? No, not really. I did meet a girl over Dota the other week. I was on video chat with her. We met in Dota, and she saw my picture because my Steam profile was my picture. And we started flirting, and she's actually kind of cute. And we started like, I even got on video chat. I whipped up my dick on video chat. And she's like, yeah, I have a boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. But I'm kind of getting bored with him. And I was like, yeah, come down to Bucharest and I'll fuck you, you know? And she's like, yeah, maybe. You know, I was like, what the fuck, you know? But then I think I pushed it a bit far because she texted me, she's like, my boyfriend keeps calling me. I think he's suspicious. I'm like, of some random like guy that he doesn't even know about. She's like, yeah, I think he knows about you. I'm like, what? And I was like, yeah, he knows you want to get fucked by Poppy. And she's like, what? No, I don't like you like that. I'm like, what? You crazy bitch. So that's the only recent girl like situation with video games that I know of. What else? I'll play Tekken. There's this super hot girl that I was fucking last year. We were playing Tekken, and basically, I'll play like fighting games with girls. That's fun. That's a fun activity. If you have something like Mario Kart, you can play with her. Yeah. Is like your question basically like, do girls accept nerds? Is that what you're kind of getting at? I'm not really sure. Because I tell girls about all my nerdy habits and they know. Okay, how do you get to know this Muslim girl where she can't even accept to go on a date? Yeah, religion's a tough one. I don't know. How do you get the Muslim girl to go on a date with you? I would say probably the best situation is you need to get her like just home with you and fuck you like just secretly. But if she won't even go on a date with you, basically you need to seduce her over text. That's probably the best thing you can do is seduce her over text. Because she won't go on a date with you because then she has to tell her very religious parents like, oh, we're going to go on a date. But what you can do is seduce her over text and get her basically to agree to fuck you. And then what you do is you like text her and be like, hey, just tell your parents you're going to see your friend. Then you get her over and you fuck her. So much for the not sleeping with girlfriends rule. Yeah. I said I would stop sleeping with girls who have boyfriends, but you know, I avoid it when possible. But if they're gonna throw it at me, I'll take it. Maybe that makes me a bad person. I don't know. When was the last time you took a piss? About, I don't know, 2 minutes ago? Pura man. Let's see. What else? Oh, okay. I'll answer this question, then I'll go. So, what do you do during a walk? Do you stop for ice cream and stuff? No, man. Look, here's the thing. If you're going on a date, just fucking go on a date. You're just there for her. You're talking to her. You're having a good time. You could sit on a park bench and talk to her for 5 hours, and that's it. And you can seduce the shit out of her. Seduction is about the emotional connection you have with her, and then the emotional and physical lust that she feels for you. So she lusts for your body and the way you touch her and the way you come off. You come off very sexy with your mannerisms. Maybe you're not the best looking guy, but you present yourself sexy. And then you connect with her. You have sexy ideas. You think about things very sexy. Like, you have a strong mind. You have a strong ability to connect with someone, and you create an emotional connection where you understand her. That's the basis of emotional connections. Do you get her? Does she feel like you understand who she is as a woman? And then if you understand who she is as a woman, and she feels safe in your presence, and she's also attracted to you on an emotional and or physical level, she's just gonna open up like a flower and be like, fuck me, papi. Cool. Awesome. This is Hector Castillo, papi. Girlchase.com. We finished our live stream. It's been about a month since the last one, but we're back and we're ready to kick some ass. So check out my King of College book in the description below. Check out One Date in the description below. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell. Follow me on social media. Papi Castillo, the zero. Papi.Castillo, Papi.Castillo, the O is a 0. So yeah, follow me and everything. Buy everything. And go fuck yourself. Okay, bye.